Still be plenty of excitement for the final as we whiz straight back up to the start for the men's coxless 4.
And in this first semi-final, we have the Netherlands, USA, France, Italy, Ukraine and Denmark.
A lot of chat on the Roadshow WhatsApp group about how good the British look. So, the Netherlands men's 4, the Rinks brothers, Rick and Ralph in the stern of the boat, Ruben Nab, the Rio Olympian, and Nicky van Sprang from Cal, the former Cal oarsman in the bows. Liam Corrigan, Mike Grady, Nick Mead and Justin Best look really relaxed at breakfast this morning. This new French combination, Théoret, Benoit Brunet, the Turlan twins up in the bows. And Italians with the cap. Alfonso Scalzoni came into this boat late. Behind him, David Varetta, Alessandro Bonamonte, Paolo Covini up in the bows. Ukraine, they've had a really good championship. The veteran Sergei Grin on the left of your picture. I think he's 40 years of age. Kravchenko, Mazur and Boklazenko up in the bows. Bastian Setcher, the sculler stroking this Danish crew, did a wonderful job to get through to the semi-final. Christian Sonnegaard, Kari Mortensen and Magnus Velberg up in the bows for Denmark. So the men's version, top 3 through to the A final and an Olympic qualification slot.
As you say, Martin, top 3 through to the A final. 7 crews will qualify for Paris. So the winner of the B final. But today it's all about making that A final. Really even start right across the field there, Sarah.
Yeah, strong start across the field as we ride here with the French in lane 3.
Yeah, good across the field. I think I gave Ruben Nab a place in the Rio Olympics, but of course was he in the Tokyo Olympics. Nice move off from the Americans. They look really fluid, don't they? This 4 has impressed throughout the season.
Fluid and aggressive.
Yeah,
like controlled aggression, which I guess you need into these kind of headwind conditions. Well, you need in any rowing boat to get the work in the water. But you could see that they were sending it down, and that's working for that American boat that you could see the United States power ball just out in front at this early stage.
Yeah, Liam Corrigan, the man Chris Korzanowski said, you know, the guy's never lost a seat race, the Harvard oarsman. And coached by Casey Galvanick. A lot of these lads are out on the West Coast under the tutelage of that great coach, Mike Tatey, Skip Kilt, Casey Galvanick, and they found a really winning combination, haven't they?
Yeah, well, Mike Tatey, a good friend of yours, Martin. You competed against each other. And yeah, he's doing a great job still bringing athletes through. And yeah, this 4 looks good, doesn't it? You often look at American 4s or rowers and you might think, you know, they look really strong, but are they really efficient? And I think they'll quite like this headwind. I think they'll like being able to row into a good, strong headwind that sets the boat up well.
And these conditions are starting to increase. We're sitting here near the finish line. You can see the tents and the umbrellas starting to fly in the water out in front of us. These conditions are going to get really tough through the rest of the day.
It's almost white horses over this side, isn't it, Sarah? And if you're watching this on the West Coast, where these guys are based, I know it's 2:16 in the morning, but welcome if you're watching this, if you've stayed up to watch your boys. It's USA leading the Netherlands. And then in 3rd place, it is the French. Is that the French in 3rd place? Have I got that right? And the conditions getting more difficult.
The conditions are difficult, and let's be clear, you can see those white horses they're rowing into. You know, the lanes have been reseeded, so we'd expect the fastest crews over there on the far side, and it's going with the lane seeding.
It looks to me as though the Americans are just struggling a little bit with that difficult water. And in fact, the French are starting to get themselves back into this race. They have the Italians off to their right-hand side. You see all of these boats clipping the waves a little bit as they go. Very, very tricky conditions as we zoom in there on the French crew. Currently in that 3rd qualifying position, the race is happening out in front of them for first, second, who will be medal favourites in this event, the Dutch and the Americans. But the Americans still with the lead.
Well, we looked at that French 4. It's the Turlan twins in the bow seat. And as you said, Sarah, they were moving very well together, trying to close that gap on the Americans. I think it's going to be a long way for them to come back there. I think they need to hold off the Italians to their right and possibly possibly even the Ukrainians.
The Italians have had a good charge in the second half. The Ukrainians, we saw them have a charge in the second half. So, you know, the French, of course, qualification so important for Paris. America lead through the 1,000. In second place, the Netherlands. France in third, being challenged by the Italians. I think the Ukrainians dropping off the back, and the Danes right in sixth place at the moment.
So here we see him into this big third quarter. Will the French be able to hold off the push that's going to come from the Italians? A nice move from the Americans. You would have thought maybe the Dutch would have stayed with them. Again, the Dutch, a few people's pick for this event. But you can be really nice and smooth, but the strength, the power, the length of the Americans is taking them through right now.
Yeah, Jose Verdonschot, I think he persuaded Liam Corrigan and Justin Best, who won the pairs trials, not to do the pair, but to get into a four with Nick Mead and Michael O'Grady, the two Philadelphians.
Yeah, and a lovely picture of them there. They do move well. You can imagine them moving well in a pair. In this headwind, I guess over there in that lane, it probably does feel really just quite nice and solid. And it's like you're sitting on a rowing machine. You just drop it in, lean into it hard. And they're doing that to great effect.
I mean, this has got to be a contender for one of the best second thousands that we've seen this morning. That American four are just killing it.
Yeah, the Americans, the French, the Italians, they're all up on 37, 39. The Dutch down on 35. So they're, I'm sure not, but it seems like they're just sort of cruising over it in lane one. They have clearly got a qualifying position, but the Americans keeping the beat up. They're the fastest moving boat on the course along with the Italians.
Well, Nicky van Sprang sits in the bow seat of that Dutch four. You can't help wondering whether he's making some calls, whether he's saying let's stay cool, calm and collected. But we're coming in for this big last 500, and I look at that Italian crew and think, will they close the gap on the French? Will they even manage to put pressure on the Dutch?
The Rinks brothers, watched by their parents, Nico Rinks, Thomas Keller medal winner, Harriet van Ettinghoven, the Dutch oarswoman, it's their mum, and America out in front. But it is France with the Turland twins from Grenoble, and Benoit Brunet and Théo Royer. Jürgen Grobler hired by the French as a consultant ahead of the Paris Olympics. He will have his heart in his mouth, as will Bastien Tabourier, the French coach, as we wait for the Italian charge. They can do it.
And look at this fight that Martin's talking about for that third qualifying position. The Italians up at 40, the French on 38. They're coming down to the last few hundred metres. The Dutch are in the second position, but they've got this fight going on behind them. They're going to have to stay on their toes here. No doubt about the race leaders. It is the US as the Dutch start to close up that gap towards them because they want to get out of this fight that's happening behind them.
Well, now you can see it on your picture. There's an overlap. The Italians are on the stern of the French boat. At the front of the field, it's all calm, it's all cool with the Americans and the Netherlands. But it's all about the centre of the course. You can't see it on your picture. The French are in front of us now. The Italians are with them. It's probably down to half a length, the lead that we can see here. Here we go, Martin. Take us through the line.
America crossed the line. Olympic qualification secured for another American boat. The Netherlands finish in second place. They will be going to Paris. And how important is that for the French team? Turland, Bruno and Royer hold off the Italians, who finish fourth. They will have to win the B final now to qualify directly. Ukraine in fifth place. Denmark coming through the line in sixth place. Wonderful row from the four Americans. Not much in the way of celebration. Thumbs up from Liam Corrigan there. What a great oarsman the former dark blue Oxford winning, boat race winning rower is.
And you said, Martin, they were at breakfast this morning. They were looking very calm and very relaxed, weren't they? Ready to go out and do the business, and they've done that. Yeah.
Dutch women's four looking really calm at breakfast.
Yeah.
They obviously didn't paddle this morning. They just came down and
interesting.
got out for their race.
Yeah, save it for the race. You know, these are very difficult conditions, so maybe you don't want to go out for a pre-paddle when it's going to be very busy. It's been very busy on the course when the crews have been out training. You can see confirmation there. The United States, Netherlands and France, and Italy couldn't get through.